Okay, this is not easy to do. I'm not used to talking to a camera. I should probably sit the dog on the table so I can talk to the dog. Anyhow, I'm making the video so that you can see how I'm making these masks. And this video is brought to you by coffee because I need that today. Anyhow, this is the pattern I'm using. You can see I've been tracing it a lot. In fact, I even cut it by accident. But I took another pattern, which, okay, hold on a second, let me get it. Where the heck is it? Oh, here. Okay, sorry. This is the pattern I found online, and so I used that, but then I thought, this is a bugger for the serger. So plus it's a seam, sorry, here I am. It's a seam running right down the center of somebody's face, and the seam is going to be more permeable. So I thought, well, at least where the mouth and the nose are, if I can somehow fix that, so that it's not a seam right there, maybe that's better. I don't know. Anyhow, so that's how I came up with this. And basically what I'm going to do is, I'll flip the camera around, but I'm using, here, I'm using cotton fabric, and either this, which looks like a used roll of paper towels, but it's not. It's actually interfacing or stabilizer for, whatchamacallit, embroidery. It's, this is just sew-in because I couldn't find any of the iron-on. And, or you can use, if you have it, Heat and Bond or Pellon, which I think I used up the last of mine. But basically you want something that's lightweight. You don't want something that's too thick, because the thing that you're going to do, oh, the other thing that you need, gosh, I need more coffee, is you need wool batting, not polyester batting, not cotton batting, but wool batting. And I can get into the whole thing, but basically I looked up what an N95 mask does, and it uses electricity. That's why they stop working after so many hours, because they get wet from your breathing, and it stops the electrostatic effects, and they stop working well. So I tried to figure out what properties different fabrics have, and this is polyester, and polyester has negative charge. You're getting a science lesson here. Wool inherently is positively charged, and so we're going to kind of make an Oreo cookie, and you can kind of think of this as the stuffing, and this is the cookie part, or this is the cookie part. So, and then this here, and that's my husband coming in. Anyhow, this is kind of just, I don't want to say it's for pretty, because what it is once it's washed, it keeps everything kind of intact and in place. So it kind of adds stability, but that's just cotton, and yeah, that's Batman, because I'm going to make some more masks for the ER for our children's hospital today. Anyhow, so without further ado, let me just stop the video and flip the camera around and show you what I'm going to do next. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace. Oh, this is not fun. Okay, I'm going to trace the outline. Oh yeah, I'm so good at this. Anyhow, it's definitely Monday. Although, I don't know if everyone else feels this way, but we've been at home for quite a while, and so it feels like Groundhog Day kind of every day. Okay, so I'm going to trace it, and then I am going to I'm going to take this away for a second. That's the interfacing, and I'm not going to trace two pieces of it, but what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take, and usually I do a whole bunch of them at once, but I'm not going to put you guys through that. And it's okay if it's not completely across. I guess I must have been stingy when I cut these strips, but because I cut them out of a quilt batting. That's why you can actually put these in boiling water and agitate them, and they won't really lose their shape. And I think it's because it's quilt batting. Anyhow, so we'll take the one that's slightly bigger. And so we've cut out something that's slightly bigger than that, but it's okay. And then I am going to take this, flip it upside down, and I'm going to put this on and basically making a sandwich. Okay. I don't normally do this way, but I also don't usually film myself doing this. So, here we go. And then we take our fabric scissors. I know that everybody that sews understands this, that there's paper scissors and fabric scissors. Okay. Anyhow, I've cut it out. Now we are going to go. I have a heat press. You could actually take this and iron it. And I'm going to tell you, I've been doing that, and you'll see why after I do it. But see how thick it is? And I want to run it through my serger, and it's just a little bit too thick. So what I'm going to do, actually, before I even do that, let me get my magic fabric. And I'm actually going to cut a piece of fabric, and I suppose I could make it so that it makes sense for the way the Batmans go. But, oh, well, if that's the case, then I guess we have to go this way. Anyhow, I'm going to cut a piece of cotton fabric. It's only going to take one layer of that. I'll show you the sandwich then. But anyhow, let me go and heat up the heat press. And again, like I said, you could do it with an iron, but you basically want to get it flattened out. This is not fusible. It's going to actually stick together a little bit though from the heat, but it's not. And you don't want to do like Wonder Under because, or I don't know what the other names are now. I'm just, again, this video is brought to you by coffee. Anyhow, you don't want to do that because it reduces the breathability of everything. So you kind of have to think about that. And that's why I'm like, the layers have to be, like there's other interfacing that's thicker, but the problem with that is it's, too thick to breathe through, and then it kind of undoes the whole purpose of the mask. So typically what I would do is, so this is going to be the inside, and the simple reason is because I have the outline there. And then this is going to be the outside. So the sandwich that goes in the heat press is going to look like that. And paying attention that the Batman are all flying up. And that's what we're going to do. So let me go heat that up, and then I will show you what I'm doing there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, first off, I'm going to get rid of Hamburger Helper. I don't need him. Let's see. I'm going to take this, and using the heat press, I'm going to put it in these. Oh God, yeah, it's early and I don't remember the name of these sheets. But anyhow, I'm going to put it between those and make a sandwich. And then when the press gets up to temperature, which right now it's a lovely 88 degrees, I'm doing it somewhere around 240 degrees, but you can do hotter. In fact, I might make mine a little bit hotter than that this time just so it's faster. But I'm just going to heat press. I'm just going to, actually I can even stick it in now. I just won't put it down, but such coordination skills this morning. Anyhow, I'm just going to put it in, and then I'm going to slap the lid down, and we're going to go with it. And I'll pull it out and show you what it looks like in a sec. Okay, just to show everybody what it looks like afterwards. Gosh, how do I turn off my notifications? Anyhow, hopefully you're not hearing all that, but I imagine you are. This is what it looks like. Look how much thinner it is. It's so much easier to go through the serger. Anyhow, now the next step I'm going to do is kind of roughly cut it out around the edges. You don't probably need to see me do that, so I think you all can imagine me using the scissors. Okay, now starts the pressure because you get to see me and serging when I haven't had enough coffee. So anyhow, what I usually do is the long side first. I'll try not to cuss. I'm sorry for the noise. I'll try to edit that out, but it may not happen. Okay, So then I just do the short side just to get it a little bit better in place. Oh, it actually worked. And nothing's unthreaded yet. My husband thinks I'm talking to him. Okay. Okay, so those are done. Now what I do is I fold it like this and about half, lift the foot, and I do that part next. Okay, so now we have something that's starting to look more like a mask. Now I do the top, and this is the bugger because it's curved. I probably could design it so it's not that way, but it is what it is. Now I'll try not to cuss. So I do half. Looks amazingly good for how things have been going. Anyhow, now I'm going to do the other half. Now, I'll be honest, they probably aren't going to match up, but they're closer than usual. Okay, now the tricky part that I haven't shown is that we need to do one at the bottom for the chin. I'm just going to do a little bit like that. I don't draw it, I just kind of guesstimate it. So I stick it in, I start at that end approximately where, and I just kind of curve. And there you go. Now, it doesn't have elastic on yet, but let me just turn it inside out so you can see. It kind of looks like a mask with all sorts of strings. But anyhow, let me stop for a second and see where I put my elastic and come back and I'll show you how I put the elastic on when I'm using my serger. Okay, back to my dining room turned sewing studio. Okay, so I have elastic. It's about 10 inches of elastic-ish. And so I lay it down, and I'm trying not to redo this whole side seam, but you know, probably it'll happen. And I line up at the top and I start. Then I grab the next piece, stick it at the bottom, and run it through. And voila, we have elastic. Then I flip it around, get this side, and kind of do the same thing. And try not to make sure that they're not twisted. Okay, and that one I did an extra special thing, so I'm just going to run it through again so that that second elastic is definitely attached well. Okay, so the last thing that you need to do is to do the pipe cleaners at the top, which, let me see, I have some over here. Hold on one sec. I'm going to use a white on this one just to show you what it looks like. Well, actually, let me pause and show you how I'm bending them, because that probably makes things easier too. Okay, I'm trying to find a spot that's not reflecting off my table. Anyhow, it's a standard run-of-the-mill pipe cleaner, but what I want to do is I'm going to actually use a zigzag stitch with, like, you know, basically an applique type thing with very little forward motion to tack it down. So I have to find, well, this is fun when you're trying to be behind the camera, the center. And so then I'm going to take and fold over like this and like this. It'll make sense later. And then I'm going to twist in the center. Oh my God, no one saw that, did they? Let me grab another pipe cleaner. Okay, so we've got the pipe cleaner. I'm going to bend it in half, And then we're going to do this and this-ish and twist it. Okay, now the magic. We take a pencil and twist it because I want that opening because I'm going to try to tack it through there. And basically what I'm going to do is, let me just do the other side first. There. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is on either side of the bridge of the nose, I'm going to put, I'm going to tack it in, and then on either end. So I don't even know if I need to even show everybody that. It's pretty self-explanatory. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in place here, and I'm going to tack here and here, and then I'm going to get down here, make extra special that my needle goes through this loop, and either tack this way, most likely, than the other way, but just, again, do like a zigzag, like an applique type zigzag, and then the same, obviously we're using a regular sewing machine and not a serger for this, and do the same on this side. And that's enough. The thought process here is that I didn't want to try to go all the way across, simply because then if the stitching came loose, the whole thing came loose for them, and if they're at work, if it's not like they can go fix that when they're taking care of patients. So anyhow, that's my thought, and that's what I've been doing. And then obviously I trim it and I put it in a Ziploc bag and let them know if it's done and they can come get it. So that's kind of what it looks like. I think what I'm going to do is after this is all over, I'm going to start making bras.